Yo, I just had this quick little tip. Um, just thinking about it recently, I read something in Letters from a Stoic by Lucius Seneca. I think it's Lucius, I don't know, whatever it is, right? And it said something about having limited mentors. I've read a different version of it, so I'm not sure if this is the same translation as always. It was a Collins classic, and it said something about having limited mentors, and it really clicked with me when I read books. Not necessarily how many authors that I'm reading from, but more that you should be limited in which type of books you read, and not just go and buy a book because it looks good, or buy a book because it's like a cheap price and you'll eventually read it or whatever. Like, you have to actually want to read the book. I realized this. There was someone in I'm not too sure who said it, but someone also clicked it into my mind of like the feel of the book. Like when you touch it, literally so artistically, but like when you touch the book and flip through the book, how does it feel? Does it feel good? Those books you love to read. I've realized that with Essentialism or Effortless, those books just feel very nice and it's laid out very well. Those books, you need to have like very like specific detail of the books before you buy them. Okay, how is it laid out? Are the chapters small? Are they big? Like, just whatever you like. I realized that personally I like smaller chapters. It could be from my very like small attention span from like years of built up video games and everything, but I've realized that that's actually helped me a lot. Reading smaller chapters, that also helped me with my attention span, because at first I couldn't even read a few words in it, or like a sentence at all in a book, and now it's like I can read the bigger chapters now, but I started off with the smaller ones, like for instance The Way of the Superior Man, or even Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. It's like it's not necessarily small chapters, but it's like small bits for each like bit of knowledge, because it's like a journal for meditations. And so I realized that when you're buying books, don't just go crazy and buy everything that you see. It's not worth it, I promise you. I have so many books. I have um, a whole little bookshelf there with like probably 50 books now, and it's like probably 40 that are non-fiction, and 15 of them at least I wouldn't actually find interesting to read. They might have great knowledge and whatever, but if you're not going to enjoy reading it, or at least if you won't, and that's it. If you don't enjoy reading it, you can have the discipline to read it or whatever, but it's like that will only go so far. If you don't enjoy the book as much, you won't actually want to gain knowledge from it. Therefore, you probably won't even like when you're reading it, you won't be like, oh, that's a good note. You'll just think, this book sucks. I'm disciplining myself to read the words, let alone take the notes and ask myself questions during it. It's just like an awful thing. So I just figured like be limited. I've realized for me that like going to the bookstore is hell. You'll just buy books. Like I go to Kmart or I go to a bookstore in my local area, and it's like you look around and you'll buy books. I used to have this terrible habit of like go to the gym, walk to the local store, just go have a look at the books, right, just in case they have anything used. Like they never did. They just had the same books, and I'm just contemplating it every time. Like, oh, should I buy this book? Oh, that book's like $3 cheaper or whatever. It's like it's not worth it, bro. Just don't do that. Like I've realized now, like I've only done this recently, is that set like a limit, and if the limit doesn't work for you, like I'd say set a weekly limit. Just say one book a week if you can afford that, of course. But if you have more than a book a week that you're spending, like buying multiple a week, set it for one book a week. So then you make it a purposeful purchase. Like you need to make it a good purchase. You don't want to just buy a random book that you see in the bookstore. So I also realized that getting a cart on Amazon really helps. Just load up a cart. I've got like 40 books in there right now. And then when you want to go buy a book, look in there. And when you see books that you like or get recommendations, or maybe you do go browse in the store one day to have a look at some different books, right? Then add it to your cart. Like you don't want to just go in there being like, oh, what am I gonna buy today? You want to be mindful and like, what's the word? You want to like have purpose with your purchases. Like you don't want to just go in there. Oh, like which book? I did it one time. I bought 4 books, $100, and I'm just like, 2 of them are just shit. They're just awful. Like why would I even want that? Just so stupid, right? I had one book. It was Ego is the Enemy, and I bought the Daily Story Journal, and the two other books were just like pointless. And I'm like, why would I do that? I just get in the habit of like buying books every bloody day that I'm at the bookstore, which is literally like every day. After the gym, I'd go there, I'd walk there, you know. I'll just cope, and I like, oh, you know, I get to read books, and it's so fun because, don't get me wrong, it's very fun to own books. Like, you feel like you're doing something. It's the one thing that in self-improvement that I always liked. Like, even when I first started, my first book was Deep Work, and my second book was maybe it was The Magic of Thinking Big. I can't remember 100%, but I know that like the first book I bought, I didn't even read Deep Work, barely. I hated it. I coped and just I said that I wanted to read it. I liked it, and that I'd read a few pages, but it was awful, right? I was still in like terrible like video games and everything, right? But it's like when I bought that book, it felt good. So now when I buy books, it feels good. Whereas you need to like associate books and feeling good with when you read them and after you read them. Because if you associate it with getting more books, you'll just like obsess over that of buying books and like, oh, you know, I could get a little display over my desk to put them all real nice and stuff. It's like, that's not good. Just go into Amazon, think of all the books that you would want to buy, even like browse on Amazon or browse on like a bookstore website, so it's like more, you can select categories of business and everything, right? Do that, get it all into Amazon, even if the prices are cheaper in the bookstore, just get it all in Amazon. And then when you go buy that book per week, or however often you want to do it, go into the cart and look for what would actually help you right now, not like in the future some business book when you haven't even started business, or not like some book on like, just, you know what I mean, like some pointless book for right now. Like, read a book if you want to learn about mindsets really badly and you feel like your mindset's lacking, buy a book on that. If you want like a self-help book, traditional, and you're just getting started, buy a self-help book. Don't buy like a productivity book. Or if you're getting started, why buy that? Just be mindful when you're doing it. I promise you, with the Amazon guide, it's helped me like massively. I haven't bought a book in like what, it's been like 2 weeks. They're not that good, but I mean, I haven't bought one since. I haven't even gone to the bookstore. I've only been to like Kmart, which is to buy other things, which, you know, I still go have a look at the books, but I don't buy them, even though there's books there that I actually want to buy. Like, I just don't buy them. I say no now because I know that the more mindful your purchases, the better the experience you have with the book, because you always end up buying pointless books. So just a quick tip for next time you're thinking of buying books, you go into the bookstore or whatever, just remember this next time you do it. Have a good day.